Nature by Ekin. Chapter 9. Picking out the pieces. Luna and Twilight kicked the destruction in front of them. All of the furniture had been overturned or wrecked outright. Even the abstract watercolor that had hung on the wall, a vintage Cimmerian from the turn of the century, had been ripped out of its frame and crumpled into a ball. Drawers had been pulled open and emptied, and their liquids were dumped all over the floor. Oh god, it's a bunch of anti-Princess Twilight haters, isn't it? Twilight recovered from her surprise a beat before Luna did, holding up a hoof to his princess's muzzle, as he indicated for her to stay where she was, as Twilight crept up to the ruined site to secure it from any intruder that might still be lurking there. She noted that the door was leading out into the suite's patio had been shattered, reduced to shards of glass half hidden in the room's shaggy blue carpet. Even the bathroom had been ransacked. The floral iron shower curtain pulled down and shred. The mirror spire webbed cracks originating from a single impact to the center of the glass, probably something blunt and heavy. Twilight reached out with her magic, probing the closets and corners of the room, looking for any sign of invisible, magically concealed attackers. At the same time, her eyes darted from place to place, digging in every cracked table leg and lacerated pillow, turning them over in her mind, trying to construct a coherent picture of whoever had done this. Finally satisfied they were alone, she called out to Luna that the room was secure. Who would do something like this? Asked Luna as she joined Twilight next to the ruined coffee table. Twilight didn't answer immediately. Her mind was already assembling, rejecting, and modifying possible scenarios based on the limited information she had available. After a moment, she walked over to the broken glass near the shower balcony door. The door was broken from the outside, as indicated by the way the glass shards fell into the room, rather than outward onto the balcony. Since the door was locked when we arrived, this is the most possible point of entry. The room was pretty high off the ground, so the break-in was most likely conducted by a Pegasus pony. Being able to fly into the balcony without attracting too much attention from the ground, she said, half as an answer to Luna's question, and half for her own benefit. She tried to walk down to the problem. I tried to reconstruct the path the force for the shock of having her and the princess's privacy violated. It was just a logic problem. The way the drawers and luggage were buried underneath the broken pieces of furniture suggested the intruder had gone after them first. I think they were looking at something, said Twilight. The more she thought about it, the more the scenario made sense. The intruder must have done the rest of the damage, either to cover their tracks or simply out of frustration. We should see if anything's missing, but my guess is they did whatever it was. We should call the police too. Maybe they can find something this pony had left behind. Luna stepped gingerly around the pieces of a broken floor lamp. It had been adorned with a tacky seaside motif, barely smiling tropical fist. It would not be missed. Twilight, in light of what happened here, we do not think the museum this morning was an accident, she said. Twilight squeezed her eyes shut. Suddenly, she wasn't in the hotel room at all. Back under the rocks and rubble, gasping for air that tasted like dark dust. I was screaming as she pushed every ounce of focus she could muster into the shield and was fighting against the crushing, squeezing sensation of unimaginable pressure above her. The slow warping, giving way as the stone slowly inches forward, closer to depressing the life out of her as she wavered for even a moment in. Twilight! Twilight stepped back into the hotel room. She shook her head to clear away the images that were threatening to overwhelm her. I think you're right. They must be connected. But they are. Twilight turned the new information over her head, clinging to the puzzle before her like a raft in a storm. Twilight, are you on well? Asked Luna. Let's try anything. Hang on, she replied. Another moment passed while Twilight tried to hash out the events of the last 12 hours and see the bigger picture hidden behind it all. We went straight from here to the museum earlier this morning. So, if we were being watched, which I assume we were, there's no way the pony monitoring us could be breaking into our room here, keeping an eye on us at the museum simultaneously. There must be at least two ponies involved with whatever this is, she concluded. Luna looked down at Twilight with concern expressed on her face, but chose to let the moment pass. We'll go speak to the proprietor of this inn, and learn to him what has transpired. However, we do not think it would be wise to remain here for the afternoon, she said. Twilight agreed. There have been two incidences this morning alone. It would be unwise to see somewhere an assailant had been able to break into once already. Leaving the room as he found it, he went to the general manager's office behind the front desk in the hotel's lobby. Ignoring the receptionist who tried to draw her attention, Luna pushed open the door without knocking. Luna ranted to the poor pony on duty about the hotel's lack of security, livery employee in a royal candlelight voice. It took barely a minute to reduce the unfortunate earth pony to a quivering mess, desperately promising to fix everything if the Alicorn would just please stop yelling at him. Luna and Twilight waited in the lobby for the police to arrive. Luna wore her version of a neutral, enigmatic expression that both Alicorn rulers had perfected over the centuries, but based on the way she was shifting in her weight back and forth and glancing around the lobby, Twilight could tell she was a bit riled by the morning's events too. Twilight had already heightened the alertness into overdrive. Could that pony dressed in a bellhop uniform be concealing a knife in his chest? A tourist lifted his heavy suitcase next to a chair when the receptionist called his name to check in. One of them was actually some kind of explosive device. It's a good thing no pony came out to greet them or the princess, or Twilight might have thrown him on the wall before they got their name.
Please, Twilight, said Luna. Twilight had a breath she didn't realize he had been holding it. Believe it or not, this is not the first time this sort of thing has happened to us. We have utmost confidence in the ability of our protectors, and especially in you. Twilight said nothing, but nodded in acknowledgement. Of course, the princess could take care of herself. It was silly for her to even have a bodyguard, really. Twilight wanted to kick herself for being so stupid. Of course, the front of the building so started to random fall apart when high-ranking government officials just happened to be standing under them. Maybe if she had been a little less clueless, she would have spotted some pony. Or noticed the glow of unicorn magic when the rocks were dislodged and fell down on top of her, where they were just a couple inches away from the painfully, agonizing pressing the life from her body until the shield fell and there would be nothing stopping them from. Twilight, the police have arrived, said Luna. Twilight startled and looked up at the three Pensacola police officers that had just entered the hotel. Two earth ponies with the alert, searching eyes of trained law enforcement, wearing police flanked a cobalt unicorn with a microscope for a kitty mark, wore a pair of sunglasses. The trio walked up to Luna and Twilight.
Hello, Miss Luna, Miss Sparkle. My name is Horatio Maine. I want to assure you that this incident will be Pensacola PD's top priority. Ponies responsible for this, and we will bring them to justice. You have my word. Now, did you touch or disturb anything in the room?
Luna and Twilight both shook their heads no.
Very good. The officers will take your statements, and my team will be arriving shortly to conduct a complete sweep of the hotel room.
Said the unicorn.
I just want to apologize on behalf of the city for this trouble. I'm sure that you can imagine that having a visit from such an important place as a facility like this is...
Horatio paused and removed his sunglasses.
a royal pain.
Hundreds of miles away, in the town of Pineville, an especially muscular white Pegasus was struck by the sense that somewhere there was something he was supposed to be doing or saying at that moment, but the feeling passed as quickly as it came. Back at the hotel, Horatio had disappeared upstairs to begin searching the room for evidence, while his two companions took Luna and Twilight to the opposite sides of the lobby and took their statements. Twilight, a purple mare with classy red and blue highlights in her mane, rarity would let herself be caught dead with, listened attentively as Twilight recounted the events from the morning and the previous night. Both pairs of ponies finished the interviewing after half an hour and regrouped. Well, unless you have any questions for us, we'll get back to the sensation and lay down the needs. Please feel anything new or want an update. In the meantime, feel free to go. Said Hargreaves telling her interview Luna, who seemed to be senior officer of the pair. Thank you, Officer Latiga. Hotel and Twilight followed her. It was only as they stepped out of the hotel room and back into the intense afternoon sun, Twilight realized she had completely forgotten to even ask the air police pony what her name was. Twilight blinked as her eyes readjusted to the dim hotel lobby light to the bright tropical sun. The local weather team had been diligent. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. You know, I think it says something about this fic versus some of the other fanfics we've been doing for the past year. This is the one that remembered, hey, weather is controlled by Pegasi. Twilight looked around them at the ponies milling around, most of them wearing light loose clothing, big floppy hats to keep the rays of the sun off of them. The hotel was situated near the beach. Most of the ponies were grouped up, each set just after another family on their way to the beach for an afternoon of fun. At the roller coaster events that had taken of her mind, Twilight was most struck about how normal it all was. Most of these ponies weren't worried about anything, beyond whether they should have a tofu dog for the boardwalk, or a wheat burger for one of the many street-side diners for lunch. Twilight wished that they were only things he had to worry about. So, what sort of cuisine shall we partake in our midday meal? Asked Luna, barely reading her mind. Was that something she could actually do, or did Luna just have a knack for lucky guesses? Royal sisters have always been coy about the exact limits of their abilities. You're hungry now. After everything that happened this morning, I thought that the incident at the museum made you lose your appetite, said Twilight. We see we have required it. We still have at least another hour before we are to rendezvous with Captain Reynolds. And you pity the police network. Besides, sure you must be at least a little hungry as well, said Luna. I'm not hungry, Twilight said. As if on cue, her traitor's stomach growled on its own opinion on the matter. Stupid voluntary smooth muscle contractions, she thought to herself. Luna chuckled. For some reason we find that claim to be difficult to believe. Come now, I'll utilize the disguise. Maybe then you'll relax a bit. Twilight frowned. Celeste doesn't like it when you do that. She says it's better for to get used to seeing you around as yourself, rather than hidden under a bunch of illusion magic. My sister's not here, and even if she were, she does not have final say on the matter, or any matter regarding how I choose to conduct myself on my vacation. Said Luna with an air of finality. And even though I actually happen to agree with her on this point for the most part, I don't think she'd begrudge me for making a few additional security precautions in light of today's events. Twilight knew from experience there was something to be gained from arguing the point with the princess. Luna pulled out a pair of red horn-rimmed glasses from her saddlebag and held them onto her face with telekinesis. When the moment's concentration, the point before her no longer looked like the larger-than-life alicorn who ruled over half the sky and heavens. Rather, like a unicorn with an especially dark coat and 3 stars for a cutie mark. No matter how many times Twilight watched the transformation, she never got in the hang of the switch from one persona to another, even though she knew the enchantment was there and how it worked. She could barely detect his presence magically. So, what am I calling you this afternoon then? Asked Twilight. We always enjoy taking the names of Celine or Artemis. Perhaps Phoebe just want to change the pace. The Spire fell muted. Twilight couldn't completely suppress a smile. You know, Phoebe, you could cover your all be more convincing if you didn't pick names associated with the moon. We would have you know that they are not associated with the moon before we started using them as identities in ages past. We are hardly to blame for ponies leaping to such associations with the mere swift of delivered power, said Luna. Honestly, we moved one mountain. Twilight giggled at the mental image of the princess, trying nonchalantly to alter local geography. Well, Phoebe, if you can master a thing for displays miraculous power for at least a couple of minutes, there's a restaurant that I've heard makes a very impressive carrot celery burrito just a few blocks from here. Exquisite! We look forward to it. Lead the way, said the princess. Twilight and Luna watched the crowded streets, mixing anonymously with the crowd, repelling his attention. Twilight still couldn't shake the nervousness and stress that had been haunting her all day. A pair of university-stage fillies who appeared to have taken full advantage of the local taverns, half-price lunchtime margarita pitchers, stumbled and tripped to the Twilight's side. Took every ounce of restraint the Twilight had not to throw the polar mare to a chokehold and slam her to the ground. By the time the pair reached the restaurant 15 minutes later, Twilight was sweating a short breath. It was not for the tropical heat. Twilight requested a booth in the corner of the room. She had a clear line of sight to both the entrance and the kitchen door. The room was decorated with the kissy modern service paraphernalia. Twilight noticed a few details here and there, the sense that the unicorn owners might have genuine Mexican heritage, which Twilight estimated bode well for the quality of the food. Twilight and Luna had arrived at the tail end of their lunch rush, only for a few tables occupied. It wasn't long before the waitress arrived with menus and drinks for them. An iced tea for Luna, and I know it says Coca-Cola, but the follow-up fan of me has to say this. A Sparkle Cola for Twilight. Maybe we should tell somebody at the museum about what happened after we left, said Twilight. Whoever was watching us may know that we met with Bronze and the professor. They might have targeted next. Officer Latigo said that they would be sending the police officer to the museum right away. We are certain they'll be fine, said Luna, taking a sip of her tea. However, we find your word choice on this matter most interesting. Most parties would have preferred to appear as Professor Secrets of Bronze Bell, or perhaps the professor has existed. If we are not mistaken, Bronze made it as an impression on you, did he not? damn it! How could one pony be so clueless and so insightful at the same time? Twilight hoped that the shade in the corner of the booth would hide as he was blushing. It's not like that, Phoebe. And even if it were, I wouldn't have had any time to go me alone anyway. Being your bodyguard's a full-time job, said Twilight. Luna grinned wickedly. It seemed that Twilight wasn't getting off the hook that easily. Perhaps you'll be suddenly stricken with the desire to go for a long fight tomorrow evening. Of course, you won't be able to fault us, not having any wings yourself. So we have no choice but to give you some time off. You earned it, she said. That's a very generous offer, but we're here only for another week anyway. Even we can't become friends. It's not like you could visit him very often. It'd be awfully transitory to you, wouldn't it? Said Twilight. Twilight, you are asking the wrong pony for that question. From our perspective, all your innocence are transitory. That isn't true at all, sighed Twilight. The dear voice a little higher than you mean to. The bearers of the other elements and I will be friends forever, even when we are around each other all the time. Not forever, Twilight, said Luna. Certainly for a very long time, even for a lifetime. However, forever is much longer than you realize. As a mortal, we would not expect you to truly understand that, but it is the truth. Oh, get over yourself, princess! The words slipped out before Twilight even realized she had opened her mouth to speak. She was even more surprised that she didn't really mind he had. The barrier might be built up to hold back all the anger, frustration, and resentment she had felt over her situation for the last few months, finally been overwhelmed. Where the tires do you get off telling me about what friendship with other ponies is worth? You have any idea how much you sound like a stuck-up, spoiled little brat who did exactly what she wanted for Heartwarming Eve? Oh no, my life is hard. I only have unimaginable levels of magical power in my own kingdom, and Scissor wants best for me. Why must I suffer so? I think I'll lock myself and cry about it. Knows to get back about the bridge. Twilight, we did not mean to minimize the importance of your friendships or the things you accomplished, just that, yes, you did. You always do. You act like something doesn't take a few centuries to accomplish. It isn't worth doing. Well, knows for us, Luna. Some of us don't have the luxury of locking ourselves away for a couple of years until our feelings aren't hurt anymore. Some of us have to make the most of every single day. Because tomorrow I might get killed for seeing your flight from a bunch of falling rocks, so don't you dare try to lecture me on what's important, or what my priorities should be. Because no matter how long you've been around, you won't ever understand what it's like to live like that. I found herself standing up by her chair, with her elbows on the table, leaning over the sky's princess. At some point, she had knocked over a drink without noticing. Seraphine beverage, dragged off the edge of the table on the floor. Then again, I guess that I'm mortal. I couldn't expect you to understand that. The enemy conversations at the other tables stopped completely. Twilight became aware that all the other patrons, not to mention the hostess, wait staff, a couple of her boys from the kitchen were all staring at her. I changed my mind again. I'm not really hungry, said Twilight. She offered the table, pushed past the stunned waitress. Come over to take their orders, she tried to the front, finding every fiber of being to scream at her to get out there as quickly as she could. Ignoring Luna's calls to wait, she shoved the door open and stepped out to the Pensacola sun by herself.